The 90s and 2000s were filled with a variety of exploration-heavy action-adventure experiences that sought non-linear progression and a high degree of atmosphere. The two pioneering developers of this immersive sim subgenre were Looking Glass Studios with System Shock and Thief, and Iron Storm's Deus Ex. Unfortunately, few of these games achieved critical or commercial success, relegating the concept to a cult following. But that hasn't stopped spiritual successes from arising, so it's time to check out the Pepataya demo, an earnest addition to the immersive sim library of massive levels, multiple pathways to completion, various side objectives, and light role-playing choices complete with classic Eurojank roughness. The small developing team reached out to me some months ago before this video offering my feedback, and as viewers of the channel and overall really enthusiastic guys, I couldn't possibly refuse. From playing their older build earlier in the year to the current publicly available one now on itch.io, they have displayed massive growth from a purely technical level to more fleshed out mechanics and characterization of the world. I believe it's well worth criticizing the game after playing it for a couple of hours in order for the developers to grow and turn Pepataya into a genuine classic immersive sim. The world of Pepataya is immediately intriguing by melding Japanese cyberpunk and Eastern European trappings, creating a very retro-futuristic world of the late 20th century Cold War Europe. Situated in a city straddling the Second Union, the Polish Solidarity Republic, and the European Union, you play as the cyborg mercenary Marie as you take up various contracts with the different factions to get your dollary dues via whatever means necessary, ergo the philosophy of immersive sims. The inspirations are clearly defined from Ghost in the Shell, 1984, and Deus Ex in its lore, characters, and mechanics, but also derived from more obscure yet thematically important sources like Serial Experiments Lane in the aesthetic and almost dreamlike distorted world, along with Stalker and how the sea is a disputed zone where innumerable international and underworld organizations duke it out with probably totally illegal weaponry and tactics. It's a really fine line to walk when referencing and taking inspiration from other creative works while also trying to forge your own artistic identity to not end up cringy, especially when it comes to anything anime related. Although the dialogue does come off a bit edgy and overly cynical, the devs don't spoon-feed you exposition. Instead, you observe, read, and more naturally uncover the world, be it reading placards, talking to characters, or reading items' descriptions, which felt very From Software or Yoko Taro and how they unveil the backstory. To not become ironically cringe myself, while I don't necessarily think it's a major issue, I caution at the themes explored. I know that they live in Canada and Poland, bless the internet connecting so many geographically disparate peoples, which helps developing their post-Soviet world and challenging issues surrounding modernity and technology. However, with the main plot likely involving Marie gaining self-actualization through their free will, I wonder if this will just be a cool nod to the character arcs of Lane and Makoto, or is this something different and unique from what we've seen before? Of course, it's their game, they can do whatever the hell they feel like from the posters on the wall and the dialogue from the characters. Much of this is outlined well enough in the beginning where you can explore your apartment, talk to weirdos outside, and pick contracts on your computer. Right now, it's just one available, with more to come. Maybe you'll get to choose them out of order, or to benefit one faction over the others. In any case, your mission is to infiltrate a penthouse and assassinate a heavily armed target. Although it's very much in alpha and running on Unity, resulting in many limitations, it's a large self-contained map in a city block with multiple branching paths to complete your objective. From your starting train station, you can talk to the locals, scope out the main building, and explore the sewers and underground network. There's at least 3 unique pathways to your target, and despite the modelling and textures being so-so, each is handcrafted. From scaling the building's interiors to a frontal assault, it doesn't come across as copy and pasted. At each one, various NPCs mill about, there's decent lighting, many interactable items helping to create an actual pulse to the world as blocky as it is. Credit to the decent music and ambient noise which reinforce that murky, repulsive vibe to each area. Less so for the overly neon coloured buildings and intensely dark areas that made navigation a pain. Pepataya's gameplay goes for the jack of all trades, a la Deus Ex, where you have first-person shooting, platforming, and stealth, the latter of which is the most developed, employing from Splinter Cell, Chaos Theory, and Thief. You have a visibility meter and can destroy lights, move bodies out of the way, and distract guards, albeit that's not hard anyhow. Your inventory can be stocked with a large variety of firearms and usable items that are arranged like in Resident Evil 4. Many of the weapons are obscure Cold War era prototypes, fitting the retro-futurist setting, so I'm keen to see further additions. As a cyborg, Marie is equipped with multiple energy-draining abilities to bolster her actions, like NV lights, increased agility, slow motion, and cloaking. Your energy and health supply is replenished through consumables found in the environment or bought off vendors. They're pretty useful in pulling off surprise attacks, avoiding enemies, and speeding up your travels. It's unclear whether you'll be able to upgrade or modify them like in Deus Ex or in the second Crysis game, but it makes sense. From a surface level, the amount of choice offered is very cool, except its roughness is a blessing and a curse in making it feel so genuinely jank, yet greatly harming the playability and mechanical purposefulness. I found complex stealthing unnecessary when you can slap on your invisibility and sprint past the guards with ease, or stand back and pop off headshots. The shooting mechanics are just fine. I think it's good the enemies can kill you fast, but it all feels very wonky. Enemies don't get stunned as you unload an entire magazine into them. The variety of abilities would be neat if it weren't how limited your energy supplies are. Strangely, in my playthroughs, consumed items would not respawn when loading a save, so I'd lose the abilities outright. Frequently, elevators would break or I'd clip through the ground to certain doom. I make these suggestions and point this all out not to be a prick, but if addressed, like bug fixes, optional bonuses like no alerts, or having your energy recharged to a certain portion allowing basic usage, and maybe having your apartment acting as a playground for Marie's skills would negate a lot of my current problems. Either way, right now, Puppeteer is a really interesting title that will hopefully be further fleshed out over time, and the developers will take on board some of my criticisms and continue refining their vision as well as gain additional support. I believe that if any games, or simply media for that matter, that elicits dreams afterwards like Puppeteer did for me, demonstrates real potential for something long lasting and worth at least trying out. And as long as it doesn't become cringe, I'll keep playing it.